Acompañarte es siempre el mejor plan. Encontrá calidad médica, innovación y trayectoria. Galeno.
Líderes TV presenta el séptimo Líderes TV Forum CEOs Evolution. El próximo martes 9 de junio, de 8:30 a 13 horas, desde el Sheraton Buenos Aires Hotel and Convention Center y Park Tower. Accede a liderestv.com.ar y participa. No te lo pierdas.
La ciudad de San Francisco, en el corazón de California, decidimos viajar al estado de Arizona, a la ciudad de Tucson, donde entrevistamos a Dwight Ferguson. Dwight Ferguson se desempeñó en destacadísimas organizaciones como Procter Gamble, Pepsi, Chiquita Banana y fue CEO de Florimex. Hoy se desempeña como board member de grandes empresas. Le preguntamos ¿cuáles han sido los cambios que atraviesan los líderes en este momento? ¿Cómo deben encarar sus empresas a partir de la inteligencia artificial? ¿Y qué representa o qué necesita ser un líder para llegar a la cumbre de esa empresa?
Hello, Dwight. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I follow your career and I know that you have worked for the largest companies in the United States, such as Procter Gamble, Pepsi, Chiquita Banana, and even a very interesting international experience at Florimex.
Correct.
So what does it take to get to the top? Because you've become the CEO of that big companies.
I think first and foremost, you obviously have to have some core competencies, some managerial skills, problem solving, people management skills, persuasive skills, planning and organizing skills. Those kind of skill sets that largely fall under more of a managerial umbrella. I think you have to have demonstrated competence in those. But I think more importantly, you have to have leadership skills that aren't necessarily often taught in our colleges and universities and leadership type programs that I think are the real difference makers. And for me, I tend to lump those under that big, broad tent of emotional intelligence. And I think for me, that's been a real difference maker.
The world has changed dramatically after AI, artificial intelligence. So how do you think is affecting the companies, the way we work, and what are your expectations?
Well, unlike some, I'm generally positive about the changes that are being brought about and enabled through AI. I think it's going to enable all of us as individuals, but companies at large to become more productive, more efficient, more effective at what they do. I mean, just having access to, in essence, all the information that's available to us on the web is going to enable us to potentially work better. Certainly there's some drawbacks, there's some issues, there's some concerns, there's always downside associated with every innovative change, but generally speaking, I think AI is going to be a good thing for us.
After pandemic, home office has become so popular, especially for the younger generations.
Sure.
What are the benefits of working through your home and going to the office? You had the chance to live both situations.
Sure. I mean, I think, the benefits of being able to work from home are largely associated with convenience for the individual, for that individual to maintain more work-life balance, which I think we all understand and appreciate today as being incredibly important. That said, I don't think there's anything that's more important than the kind of collaboration, communication, and interpersonal relationships that are formed when you're actually going to an office and having that kind of personal connection that is enabled by doing so. So my personal bias, my personal preference is to maintain some kind of balance.
Has leadership changed a lot through the years?
I don't know if it's so much changed. I think our awareness of true leadership effectiveness has changed. Just as I said a couple of minutes ago, I think the understanding that self-awareness is today critically important. I think the quote-unquote soft skills associated with interpersonal relationship building is certainly important. I think empathy and being able to project out and put yourself in other people's, shoes, so to speak, is critically important. To me, I think those soft skills are as important today in our leaders than they've ever been. Be able to cultivate, trust and loyalty and a willingness to lead with your heart is as important today as it's arguably ever been.
Do you think is that possible with the youngest generations that probably they tweet over on WhatsApp or?
Yeah. I mean, I think in many ways they're more in tune with that than perhaps myself as part of the baby boom generation. Was they have that insight, they have that knowledge, they have that experience that was given or enabled to them by ourselves. I think they're extremely well prepared to lead in very effective ways.
They say that they hire you for your hard skills and they might fire you for the lack of soft skills,
Yeah.
So how important is to find a mentor in the organization? And did you have one?
I've been blessed in my career to have many mentors. I think early on in my career, my first big job out of school was, of course, with Procter Gamble, as you mentioned. I was able to move fairly quickly into a more senior level sales role there, and I think in part, to a large degree, it's because I had good mentors. I think of Lamar Johnson, for example, as my first district manager. Not only was he a good, effective leader and a good manager and a good coach, but he was also a very effective mentor. I can name several at Pepsi-Cola, Joe McGilvray, Charles Stamper. You mentioned Floramex. I mean, Floramex was a very, very interesting company. It was my first foray into managing a global enterprise. And I think of Claude Owen, who was the chairman of the board and the CEO at the parent company for Floramex at that time, and how he very graciously mentored me into that role. So short answer is yes.
What do you think that was the most important thing you learned from your mentors?
I think the most effective thing you can do as a mentor... Is
it example?
Certainly lead by example. I think that's a big part of it because, of course, early in your career, you're a sponge, right? And you're absorbing all that know-how, that knowledge, and that skill. But I think the most effective leaders just ask the right questions at the right time and enable you to draw certain conclusions on your own that they very skillfully guide you.
You had a very interesting experience in the agricultural sector.
Right.
What are the main changes that this sector has undergone in the past years due to sustainability matters?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lot of change in ag in general. My background and experience is largely in specialty produce, which is a subset of ag. But the challenges that are impacting agricultural entities today are arguably the greatest that they've ever been. If you look at things like climate change, if you look at things like natural resource issues, most notably here in the U.S. associated with water. If you look at some of the challenges associated with labor availability, which are arguably bigger and more challenging than they've ever been before. Regulations that are being placed on growers in particular, farmers, for example. And if you think about some of the issues associated with international trade, barriers and some of these tariffs that we're now managing through. I don't know, Cecilia, if there's ever been a more challenging time to be involved in that. That being said, I think today's farmers, growers, distributors, marketers, anybody that's involved with ag today are more resilient than they've ever been, more resourceful than they've ever been, more committed to innovation than they've ever been, more committed to developing, new technologies that's enabling them to overcome some of these challenges. So, yeah, challenges are very serious today, but the capability and the opportunities and the resilience of our farming community is arguably the best it's ever been too.
Where do you see business opportunities in that sector?
Well, first and foremost, growth. I think consumers in general have more access to healthy, let's say again, fruits and vegetables, for example. I think that the economic situation, for the most part, current times accepted, have certainly enabled more people to have more access to fruits and vegetables. Global trade, the availability, transportation solutions, etc., are giving more of the 8 billion people in the world access to the best products they can possibly have. And I think that's also having a very positive impact on our collective health.
Do you see that organic products are booming right now?
Sure. They're continuing
conscience about your own health and how each product is produced.
Yeah, and I think consumers are more aware of how their food is being grown and prepared. Therefore, that has enabled more interest in organic products, and that's why organic products are now 10, 15, maybe upwards of 20% in certain cases of the kinds of products that are being consumed.
How do you perceive Argentina from the United States? We know that Mr. Trump and Mr. Milei are getting very well, getting along very well.
Sure.
And do you think that might bring particular, opportunities for Argentina, or how do you see our country is perceived from here?
Well, that political relationship certainly isn't going to hurt. But I think more importantly, I draw from my experience when I was in the berry industry, right? I had the good fortune to manage the world's second largest berry company.
Blueberries and
strawberries,
raspberries,
blackberries,
wow, delicious.
Yeah. And therefore I had exposure to Argentina because Argentina has always been a global leader in the production primarily of blueberries. And I always had tremendous respect and appreciation for the innovation, the commitment, and I think more importantly, the work ethic associated with the growers and the farmers in Argentina, and the problem-solving capabilities that were required to get their fruit from South America, from Argentina, to the global markets, not just in the United States, but also into Europe and also into Asia. So I think there's a tremendous resourceful commitment, innovation, and doing what's necessary to make business work in Argentina. And I'm sure that crisscrosses many different industries. Just look at citrus today. Lemons from Argentina is a very, very healthy and growing business. And again, a lot of the growers that are producing lemons used to produce other crops. So it's just another example of how resilient the Argentine farmer is.
What is the role that entrepreneurs have in the in the agricultural or agribusiness?
Yeah, I could make an argument that all growers, farmers, distributors, marketers of ag products are very entrepreneurial. I think you have to be. You've got to have those self-starter skills in order to succeed in that industry.
What does a good entrepreneur or a successful one needs to have? You know, considering what you mentioned recently about the huge changes that we're undergoing globally.
Yeah, I think soft skills that I touched on earlier, right? Those
markets are changing so fast. And
sure, and therefore
depending on the commodity prices.
Right. I would add to what I said previously and talk about the willingness to collaborate and to truly partner in every step of the supply chain, right? From where products are being produced, to where and how they're being distributed, where and how they're being received, not just by retailers or distributors on the buy side, but also by consumers and those that are willing to pay attention to consumer trends and partner with others that are in that supply chain are the ones that I think are truly entrepreneurial and succeeding today.
Dwight, you know that Argentina is crazy about football. We were so proud to win the last World Cup. And here we are, 2026, in this FIFA World Cup that is taking place in 3 countries. In Mexico, the United States, and Canada. Mm-hmm. What are your expectations of this football World Cup?
Well, I think my expectations are a tremendous amount of excitement. It's a tremendous opportunity for North America to be hosting such a significant global sport. As you know, popularity of soccer, what you would call football, isn't necessarily as high in our country as it is elsewhere in the world. So it's an opportunity for more Americans to be exposed to the great sport that soccer is. It's an opportunity, I think, for many cultures to come together around that globally popular sport. I had the opportunity, along with my wife, to be at the Olympics a couple of years ago in Paris, and I saw firsthand what sport can do in terms of pulling together different cultures, people from different countries around, good-natured physical activity that brings out the best in all of us. So my expectations is for us to see more of that here on our own soil.
Do you like football?
Of course. And my son was a very skilled football player himself and excelled throughout his primary education on into college and still plays today in various adult leagues. So
the mascot I read is an eagle. So why the eagle? Why the eagle is everywhere? Do you think because of the vision that the eagle has, because of the high fly?
Yeah, I think probably what it stands for and the significance that the eagle has for people in this country. I mean, that is our national. If we have a national mascot, it's the bald-headed eagle. So. Yeah, that's a very appropriate mascot for the games.
I know you love to play golf.
I do.
A good golfer at La Paloma Golf Club. Mm-hmm. And could you make a parallel between golfing and leading an organization? I mean, you're into one hole and into the other one, or?
I think I could probably draw several similarities or certain analogies between golf and leading a company or a group of people. I think first and foremost, it goes back to what we talked about when it comes to resilience, because golf is not, as they say, a game of perfection, right? You're going to have good holes and bad holes. And I think just like leading a company, you're going to have good times and bad times and successes and certain failures. And I think in golf, you can't overreact to either, just as I think in business or in leadership, you can't overreact to either. So I think that's a great analogy, actually.
Good. And if you get into a sun trap or you get into the rough, then you have to find the right iron, right?
You have to find the right solution, that's for sure.
Good. And how important is money in a career?
Money in terms of enabling you to do certain things, or in terms of income?
Yes, of income and retribution for what you do.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a very tangible reward for success in realizing professional goals and objectives. But I think beyond money, I mean, I think today, especially with the new generation, there's a desire to find other rewards and other satisfactions beyond money. We all now today want to be doing things that are meaningful, or doing things that make a difference and contribute to the overall benefits of society today. I think that's important. So sure, making a good income, realizing tangible rewards are important goals and objectives, but beyond that, I think we truly want to make a difference.
You need to have a project, a goal.
Yeah, we all want to make things better, sure.
You have a beautiful family and a wonderful wife, Nancy, which I'm happy to know, and two beautiful kids, you know. And how important is your family and in, you know, the development of your career? Now at this stage, you have a granddaughter, but I mean, how important was it for you to have the support of your family, of Amanda, Jack, and Nancy?
I think it's by far and away the most important thing, right? I mean, if you don't have that strong support network at home amongst those people that you love the most in the world, right? It's not going to be easy to succeed professionally. So I think it's the most important thing, and it's the most gratifying thing too at the end of the day, because you want to create that legacy for your family, create that example, enable that strong foundation for them to be able to go on with their lives and prosper and, you know, realize their goals.
I know you've been several times in Argentina. What is it that you like the most besides dulce de leche and alfajores? You even horseback ride one time.
Yeah, of course. I think it's the overall culture of the people in Argentina. And I've always felt welcomed to Argentina. I've always felt very comfortable in Argentina. I've always felt very much at home in that particular part of South America. So it comes down to it, like it does in most things, I think, in life today. It's the relationships that we're able to create with those people that we're fortunate enough to meet in other countries, and how those bonds are able to continue to grow and develop over time.
You live in Tucson, Arizona. What is it that you like from your town, you know?
Well, first and foremost, it's the climate. You know, I was born and raised in the Midwest. I've lived on the East Coast. I've spent a lot of time on the West Coast. Spent a lot of time up north. So obviously living in a place where the sun shines 330 days out of the year, despite some very warm summers, is very, very attractive. But here too, the culture is very, very rich. The lifestyle is very, very nice. And just the overall quality of life that somebody is able to realize in a place like Tucson. It's great, very healing.
If you want to pick up a book, what would that be?
Oh, so I consider myself an avid reader. I'm always reading some kind of book. And generally speaking, I read a lot of books on leadership because that is a personal interest of mine. But probably history books interest me the most because I think there's a lot to be learned from history. And I think biographies would probably be a close second, because especially biographies of famous leaders and people that have made an impact on the world in their lives. And learning more about how they've done that and why they've done that is always interesting me as well.
What would you like your legacy to be?
Oh, I guess, that I've left my family and I've left my career and left the friends that I've been fortunate enough to have, and, a better place because I've been part of their lives.
Thank you, Dwight. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Acompañarte es siempre el mejor plan. Encontrá calidad médica, innovación y trayectoria. Galeno.
Líderes TV presenta el séptimo Líderes TV Forum CEOs Evolution. El próximo martes 9 de junio, de 8:30 a 13 horas, desde el Sheraton Buenos Aires Hotel and Convention Center y Park Tower. Accede a liderestv.com.ar y participa. No te lo pierdas.